do you have a particular meal that has significance for you, or if you have to go out for a birthday dinner, do you have a particular restaurant in the Shire you like? I think one of my guilty pleasures is going down to South Cronulla Beach and getting a grind espresso coffee and maybe a dirty bacon and egg roll from somewhere.
Nice.
And that refills my energy bank account.
Yeah, and then you probably feel happy after that. Yeah. For me, my favourite restaurant is
Hello and welcome to another episode of Shire Health Chats, Healthy Local Conversations. Today I am very excited to be sitting down with Claire Davidson, our local dietitian. Welcome to the show, Claire.
Thank you for having me.
So Claire comes extremely qualified, having a degree in science, brackets nutrition, from the University of Sydney with honours. She's had extensive experience working in a number of roles. And Claire, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Sure. So I am a Shire local. I live in Kirrawee with my family. I have two small children, so having them around has helped me very much in my work with kids. So I've just finished up working this year actually in the hospital system. So I've spent the last 16 years working at Westmead Adults Hospital and Westmead Children's Hospital. So quite a long time, lots of commuting hours. So this year, it was time for a change, time to do something different. So I am very excited to have started my own private practice, and I'm here on Tuesdays at Kirrawee Family Medical Practice.
And a lot of people make that switch. People might not understand or might not have the experience of knowing how much you guys have to do. You have to do hospital training. And there's a number of layers to being a dietitian. The advantage of going to private practice is now you've got a shorter commute, you're working in the Shire, locally, it's all these lovely things. I noticed on your website that you have a couple of neat photos up in the banner up the top, and that included various coloured oranges, but also some coloured macarons, which I thought, that's interesting as a choice for a dietitian.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I'm very passionate about food being considered food. So it was when I was on maternity leave about 8 years ago with my son, I started learning about intuitive eating, about the health at every size approach to nutrition care, to medical care, and this food neutral approach to eating. And that really resonated with me. And it's something that I've really tried to learn a lot about since then and to kind of implement in my practice. So I very much come from a food is food type approach. All foods have a role to play. It's not just about nutrition and fuel for our bodies. It's also about enjoying food, food being social. We're coming up to Christmas, so it's one of the most social and food-rich times of year. And that can really cause a lot of anxiety for people. So, yeah, I really want to work from that kind of approach. Of course, that doesn't mean we can then just eat McDonald's all day long or chips all day long, or even just fruit and veg all day long. So we have to look at food and eating and the days and weeks and months as a whole. I really try never to tell a patient to not eat a food or that a food is bad for them, unless they have a medical reason, of course. So if they're allergic or intolerant. But yeah, I really try and include all foods. It can be really difficult because we get so much messaging, especially on social media these days, about bad foods, healthy foods, not healthy foods. And it starts from when our kids are really young, in primary school, in childcare, and that messaging, just keeps going as we get older. So yes, macarons. I love macarons, but I also love oranges and apples. Yeah.
And there's a lot of good points in there. I might pull them out one by one. The first is social media advice. The second is anxiety around meals and the holidays. And the third is ritualized eating. Just starting with social media, what do we do? It's not an uncommon occurrence for someone to come into my consult room and say, hey, I'm thinking about a carnivore diet. Or
Yep.
I'm vegan and I want to talk about breastfeeding options and talk about supplemental options for my baby, or all sorts of range of diets that are out there. And that's why I really like having a good dietitian on hand to sort of help streamline that care. The idea of anxiety at the holidays can go a bit beyond, just getting the Christmas turkey right, I find, which is no doubt
absolutely
very stressful. That's very stressful by itself. But there is a lot of anxiety about eating too much, eating too little. And that can show up even in mental health concerns and mental health disorders.
Absolutely.
And the final one about ritualized food, how do I put this? So in many cultures and many people's lives, food is a ritual. It's a ritual that fills their emotional and spiritual tank. It's a gathering of the family.
Absolutely.
And so it is really important to have a healthy relationship with food and to enjoy that ritual if you can. So I think, having a healthy relationship with food is something we're all about here at Kirrawee Family Medical Practice. It's why we find you such a good fit. Tell me a bit about health at every size and finding ways to interact with food that's healthy. What are the sort of common things you might see?
Sure. I think just first of all is the idea and what we're told and what we're shown on social media, on the news, even just, I think back to my training as a dietitian back in 2002, even my degree, it was very much from a thin is good, fat is bad. And that kind of teaching is really ingrained in so many health professions. And health at every size is a concept where we're not equating a person's health to just what they look like or the size of their body. So it means that even someone who is thin may not be healthy. They may have medical conditions. They may have mental health issues. So it's not just physical health, it's mental and emotional health as well. And it's not making assumptions that someone is healthy by the way they look. And that also goes for people or kids who are overweight. That doesn't mean that they are not healthy. So it can be quite possible for someone to be overweight but metabolically healthy. And there's a lot of interventions, a lot of things that are recommended to people that are overweight that are not sustainable or not evidence-based. And the main one of those being weight management. So when the Health at Every Size movement looks at long-term data about weight loss, and a lot of weight loss studies will look at short-term weight loss. But when we think about people and lives, like we live longer than a couple of years, hopefully. When you look at weight loss, 95% of people who go on a diet to lose weight will regain all of that in 5 years. So it doesn't work. So my approach, and also it's very difficult and it's miserable. I don't know if you've ever tried to go on a diet, you end up just thinking about food all day long. So I would much rather work with someone around their relationship with food. I would work with a diabetic about setting out their meals and the types of foods in a day to look after their blood glucose levels. For a little child whose parents might be worried that they're on the higher BMI scale, I would be looking at their growth from birth and their growth as a whole, and what's happening at home for them, what's going on in their family. So maybe they're at the upper end of the centiles, but what does that look like as a whole clinical picture for the child? I think especially in children, there's a lot of anxiety from parents because, again, we've been taught that fat equals bad or fat equals not healthy. So it's really a lot of my job, I think, sometimes is education and reassurance.
So we were talking about rituals for food earlier. Do you have a particular meal that has significance for you, or you know, if you have to go out for a birthday dinner, do you have a particular restaurant in the Shire you like? I think one of my guilty pleasures is going down to South Cronulla Beach and getting a grind espresso coffee and maybe a dirty bacon and egg roll from somewhere.
Nice.
And that refills my energy bank.
Yeah, and then you probably feel happy after that. For me, my favourite restaurant is Giro Osteria in Cronulla. It's Italian, it's very authentic, it's delicious. I've never had a bad meal there. So that's my restaurant of choice for birthdays. They also do a very, very good apple martini.
Oh, lovely. So, look, the holidays are coming up. Some of us have limited hours over the Christmas period, but you're here. Just remind me what days here at the practice?
Tuesdays.
So people can find you on Tuesdays. Where do people find you if they want to look at your content or your services? What's the best place to find you?
So I have a website which has got sort of basic information about me, like my qualifications, the types of patients that I see, and a few little frequently asked questions. So that's Claire Davidson .dietitian.com.au, I think.
We'll throw a link in there.
We'll put a link in. And if you look on social media, on Facebook and on Instagram, I'm clairedavidson.dietitian on there as well. And yeah, just if anyone ever wants to contact me, I'm happy to chat over the phone. I'm happy to be contacted by email. All of those different avenues.
And maybe our listeners can put a comment below just about their favourite ritual meal or their favourite meal that tops up their tank. Claire, it's been a pleasure chatting. You have a lovely day.
Thank you.